stepping up their push for a comprehensive immigration bill. The religious debate now making its way all the way to Capitol Hill. And Iowa Republican Congressman Steve King was present during a debate on Capitol Hill. He is the ranking member on the Subcommittee of Immigration, Citizenship, Refugees, Border Security, and International Law. That's a long one. And Father Jonathan Morris is a Fox News contributor, and we welcome you both here for this. You know, it's very interesting.
Thank you,
Representative King, let me start with you. You know, there is a religious sort of angle, if you will, to all of this. The feeling that Christians, you know, want to accept people, want to take care of them, want to, you know, act as Jesus would have in these situations. And some people are using that argument as an argument for open borders.
Well, that's a new twist for Democrats to reach out and ask people of faith to make their argument that supports comprehensive amnesty legislation. We've been chastised by Democrats for years for wearing our religion on our sleeve or using our religion as a moral compass to establish a federal policy. So it is a new twist. But, you know, God gave us rights. Our founding fathers recognized that. It's in our Declaration. It's the foundational document of America. And God made all nations on earth, and He decided when and where each nation would be. And that's out of the book of Acts. It's in other places. So we can't be a nation if we don't have a border. And if we grant amnesty, we can't define it as a border any longer or ourselves as a nation as a border any longer. So I think that this is a political move on the part of the Democrats, and I regret that I saw the witnesses testify the way they did.
Well, all right. So, Father Jonathan, you know, we've seen churches act as sanctuaries, you know, and not want to turn people away. They want families to be together. So how do you sort of, you know, ride that line and still maintain borders?
Right. Well, I think what we have to do is we have to balance both faith and reason in this issue. And I'm glad to hear the Democrats going back to the Bible and Republicans. Quite honestly, ever since, I think in a special way, since Roe v. Wade, we have decided that biblical standards, nope, they have nothing to do with politics. In fact, they do, because it's making decisions based on what we can grasp is best for the common good. But to Congressman King's point, I think we also have to be very careful not to just pick and choose, to say the Bible tells us secure borders, therefore secure borders, and we're not going to do anything until that. I think that's really a mistake, Martha, that we start saying we're only going to go after immigration reform until we secure the borders. The safest and the fastest way to secure our borders today is comprehensive immigration reform, which includes securing those borders and starting now.
Yeah, you know, there's one other interesting element to that, to this whole discussion, and it is about the evangelical kind of leaning towards this comprehensive reform. And some people are saying that it's because they proselytize a lot of these people. It just so happens that the majority of the group coming across the border, Congressman King, are of, you know, the Christian faith, and that they are convertible, so that evangelicals feel like this is, you know, fertile ground, so to speak, for them.
Well, there must be an element to that, but I don't want to make that allegation. I just say here's the distinction. In this Congress, we are lawmakers, as Moses was a lawmaker, actually a lawgiver. We're lawmakers here, and it's our job to encourage the law to be enforced. It's the executive branch's job to actually enforce the law. Sometimes we're in the business of seeking to embarrass the administration into enforcing the law. Our priests and our pastors, and I'd be very happy if Father Morris was my priest, they're in the business of missioning to everyone on earth. So borders mean something different to our clergy than they do to a nation. And
Martha, let me just jump in, though.
Sure.
Before we blame just the federal government, the executive branch, President Bush, I think, put out a pretty good comprehensive immigration plan, and it was rejected by Congress. And it was precisely because we were only going after one point, and that was secure the borders. What about the Good Samaritan? Going back to the Bible, I don't usually do this, but since we're talking about the Bible, what about the Good Samaritan? The fact is the government today is using people for political and economic situations. We're saying you can't come across the border, but hey, if you get across, we'll give you a job, and we're not going to penalize the businesses in a serious way. Congress also has a responsibility here.
All right. Go ahead,
But
Congressman
government
King.
didn't say that. We wrote laws, and the administration was not serious about enforcing those laws. We know that. The American people know that. That's why comprehensive immigration reform failed, is because the people proposing it were not and are not serious about enforcing immigration laws. They say, go back to the line, to the back of the line, pay a fine, learn English, and then we'll give you a path to citizenship. But when asked where the back of the line is, it's still in the United States. There's a long line outside the United States, perhaps 50 million long, that they should get behind if they go to the back of the real line.
Congressman Steve King and Father Jonathan Morris, great to talk to you both
You'd be
today.
welcome in my church, Congressman, any day.
I'll be looking to do that.
Always
Thank
wanted
you.
to bring in one more, Father Morris.
Very good.
Thank
He's
you
a
both.
heck of a priest on a Sunday morning,
he
isn't
sure
he?
is.
Right on.
Absolutely.